Welcome to Interlude. My name is Nadine Pierre. So how's it going? What are you creating? As I looked at the blank, unwritten page that Reverend Nina spoke of last week, I actually started to look at the past year, right? Searching for the lessons. I searched for the moments where, in retrospect, I would have chosen differently. I had many opportunities to get caught up in the moment and react. Then I stopped. I stopped myself. I breathed deeply and chose to look at this moment, look at my emotions, and pause. Maya Angelou said, "When you know better, do better." So when I paused, I acknowledged that I became more myself, more authentic in 2020. And that's huge. It's awesome. Now, I'm sure not everybody would agree to that, but I digress, right? So standing there in that moment this past week, looking in the mirror at my authentic self, I chose to look again at that blank page, to what I would create, not from something past, but from this moment, to who I wanted to be. Now, some of you may have also started with last year or years past, releasing what would hold you back or keep you small, while finding and focusing on the lessons and learning from them, learning about yourself. So take a breath and let us be reminded that it all starts with us, each and every one of us. Who are we willing to be in the world? For the world. Let's create. Rumi said, "The inspiration you seek is already within you. Be silent and listen." So let's pray. Starting with some deep breaths. Each breath acknowledges the silence. It is in silence that we find clarity. I find clarity. Guidance. Deep breath. Wisdom. deep breath. Oneness. I find oneness. In this place, in this space of oneness, lies unconditional love. I remember, with love, all things are possible. As we create, as I create this new year for myself, I will impact those around me. I cause a ripple with and in each life I touch. With each breath I take. With each smile I express. Who I am matters. Who I am that shows up in each moment matters. I may never know the impact, and it matters. As I pause and breathe through each moment, it matters. I know it will take courage. It will take being vulnerable. And it matters. It matters that I be vulnerable and authentic. It matters for each person around me, the people around them, and most of all, it matters for me. It matters that I allow myself the privilege of being authentic and vulnerable. For not only will I be better for it, so will the world. I will show myself compassion when I falter, and hold myself accountable to try again. I am grateful for each opportunity. I create a world of abundant joy, love, and oneness. I create my world knowing it will impact everyone around me, including me. And so it is.
Thank you, Nadine. That was awesome. Good evening. My name is Reverend Nina Clark, and I am the Associate Minister here at Unity in Lynnwood. And I just want to tell you, we actually didn't talk before we did this, and in a minute you'll be as impressed as I am about the fact that we are all one. Welcome to Interlude, our midweek service where you can take a midweek breath and recenter in the truth of who you are. So, here we are. Where does the time go? Last week we talked a little bit about how, at least for some of us, New Year's resolutions can feel like we're fixing something that's wrong with us. And that starting from that place of not enoughness tends to result in those resolutions not being so resolute. And we explored about how starting the year with a blank page doesn't tell us that something is wrong with us, but instead can call us into a greater expression of the who that we already are, but may not fully know yet. The blank page allows for adventure and mystery. It calls forth curiosity, listening, discovery, and delight in our own unfolding and learning. Last week I shared a few lines from the song Unwritten, one of which was, "Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten." So, how's writing that new story going? Are you finding that it's just super comfortable, everything's flowing smoothly? Or are you discovering some writer's block? Or are you finding that some of the old habits and beliefs, some of your old limiting stories from your past leaked through your pen onto that new sheet of paper? Yeah, me too. And guess what? It's okay. It's not only okay, it's marvelous. Why? Because now you can see it. It's part of the discovery of you. If you choose to not start this year with resolutions that tell you where you're falling short or what you need to add or fix to be a better you, but instead you chose to start with you, right where you are, and with a beautiful blank sheet of paper, guess who shows up? You. Beautiful, lovely, marvelous you. And your stuff. And the cool thing about that, at least I think it's really cool, is that you have exactly what you need to discover who you want to express as well as knowing what's in your way. No resolutions required. Last week, I shared a story with you about a time when I worked as a camp counselor for a summer camp in Maine. And for those who were not here last week, in a nutshell, I was hired to be the drama counselor, even though my experience in the college theater program had never included acting or directing. I had decided when I arrived at the camp that instead of continuing the story of my past, which would have included the words, "I can't," "I don't have the experience," or "but I never," I instead took out a new blank sheet of paper, smoothed it out, and wrote "What if" on it, and opened my arms wide to the adventure of that summer. But it's not that my old limiting thoughts didn't sneak onto that new sheet of paper I was writing on. They were still there. I just didn't let them take over the story. And by the end of the summer, simply by virtue of some of the things that had been birthed out of my new story, I realized that some of my old limiting thoughts weren't even true. And from then on, those old thoughts no longer held any power. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore has a similar story. Myrtle was suffering from tuberculosis and other maladies and had been given about 6 months to live. a friend invited her to a seminar by a gentleman named E.B. Weeks, who was a student of Emma Curtis Hopkins. There, she learned something that changed her life, and she decided, right then and there, to start with a blank piece of paper and begin again. She realized that her future was not yet written. She was a child of God, and she could create herself and her life starting right where she was. She decided to write a new book called I Am a Child of God, and I Do Not Inherit Sickness. And when something leaked out of her pen that was an old limiting pattern or thought, she no longer gave it power to take over her whole story. She looked at it, saw it for what it was, and then kept writing her new story. In her words, I did not become discouraged at her cells, she's talking to her cells. I did not become discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but I kept right on, both silently aloud, declaring the words of truth, or the words of her new story. When Myrtle felt pneumonia coming on, she wrote, when I felt the old familiar heaviness, pain, and smothering in chest and the aching all through my body, which meant pneumonia, I kept holding that God, my Father, was my health and strength. The result was that I did not have pneumonia. Again, lines for her new story. The old story was about a sick Myrtle. The new story was about a healthy Myrtle. Also in her words, these changes were not accomplished all at once. There has been a gradual giving away of the old established ideas as we have steadfastly made room for a higher order of living. Don't think that it was always a pathway of roses or that my head was continually above the clouds. In other words, she no longer let her old thoughts of dis-ease rule her story. They were there, but she put her attention on the new story that she was writing, and while it didn't happen overnight, her new story gained strength and slowly became the dominant one. Unity in Lynnwood's mission statement is practical spirituality, welcoming community. Practical spirituality. Put into consistent practice, Unity's teachings help us lift ourselves out of old patterns into a new consciousness where we have a greater freedom, expanded opportunities, increased clarity, and an elevated consciousness where wisdom and love and peace flow more freely. In a nutshell, put into practice, Unity's teachings can support us in leading a more fulfilling life. Unity teaches affirmative prayer as a way to write a new story for ourselves, one that we can consciously influence, one that reveals what the old patterns are that limit us and give us the space to choose new ones. And here I'm going to insert a shameless plug. Dr. Richard is teaching a prayer class right now that is a must-take. It's not your normal 5 to 6 week class. This program is reminiscent of Unity's early correspondence course with a once-a-month class and practice. Taught in this way, you'll have a full month, complete with support, to actively practice not giving power to those old patterns when you start writing in the book of you and stuff comes up. If you really want to bring these teachings into life in your life, I can't recommend this class enough. And the next class will be Sunday, February 7th at 3 p.m. And so, when you are writing the book of you consciously and intentionally, knowing that your future is as yet unwritten, and you glance down at the page and see some of your old patterns coming to the surface, be glad. They are telling you that you are ready to see them for what they are and no longer give them the power to take over your story. So will you settle into your chair or recliner, floor or bed, sitting or lying down, and I invite you to close your eyes. Take a breath in and scrunch the muscles of your face, and as you exhale, allow your facial muscles to relax and soften. Breathe in and raise your shoulders up to your ears. And as you exhale, allow your shoulders to relax and soften. Breathe into your chest. And as you exhale, allow your chest and your ribs to relax and soften. Breathe in and tighten your legs. And as you exhale, allow your legs to relax and soften. Breathe in and scrunch your feet tight. And as you exhale, allow your feet to unscrunch and to relax and soften. Then bring your attention to your breath. And by doing so, allow yourself to come to this present moment. I invite you to imagine that you're in a beautiful study. You're sitting in a comfortable chair, feeling quite relaxed and at ease. There is a fire crackling in the fireplace, and the room is filled with natural light. There are large windows that you can see out of from where you're sitting, and they reveal beautiful gardens and lush trees and shrubbery. You look to your right and see a small side table, and on it is a journal. Go ahead and pick that journal up and turn to the first page. It is smooth and crisp and clean. It is waiting for you to write. No one else can write the words that you will write. No one else can matter in the same way that you will matter. No one else can make the unique difference that you can make. There is a pen on that side table. It is beautiful, and it fits in your hand perfectly. It is made for you. What will you write? Listen to what's in your heart. Be not afraid. Open yourself to inspiration. Open yourself to the wisdom that lives in and as you. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. Write possibility. Allow yourself to write something that you've never dared to let yourself imagine before. Let your heart and your creativity inspire you and press your edges in ways you've never permitted before. And then just notice, does an old thought, an old fear, a can't, a doubt suddenly appear on the page? Hello. There you are. I see you. You have no power here. You have no power here. As you repeat those words, watch as the words fade from the page. Take a deep breath. And again, allow yourself to write possibility. Allow yourself to write something new you've never dared let yourself write before. Let your heart and your creativity inspire you to press the edges in ways you've never permitted before. Then just notice, does an old thought, an old fear, a can't, a doubt suddenly appear on the page? Hello. There you are. I see you. You have no power here. You have no power here. As you repeat those words, watch as the words fade from the page. And breathe. And once more, write possibility. Allow yourself to write something new you've never dared let yourself do before. Let your heart and your creativity inspire you to press your edges in ways you've never permitted before. Then just notice, does an old thought, an old fear, a can't, a doubt suddenly appear on the page? Hello. There you are. I see you. You have no power here. You have no power here. As you repeat those words, watch as the words fade from the page. And now, bring your attention back to the room that you are in. Take a deep breath. Fill your lungs. Slowly exhale. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, allow your eyes to gently open. Namaste.
Wow. Thank you, Reverend Nina. If you would like to donate tonight, there are some easy ways to do so. There's text to give, or you can go to our website and click on the donate button. Or you can even mail us a check. As always, we thank you for your generosity. As we close this time together, let's take some deep breaths. These are profound times that require profound discovery, transformation, and bold love, all mixed in with vulnerability and courage. I get to choose the story I tell myself. The story I tell myself about me. And I choose to create who I am because it matters. I matter. So as I encounter opportunities to grow, opportunities that would have me pause, to look in the mirror, to see myself, I may take a moment and close my eyes, but only a moment, to gather my courage, my truth. And I breathe deeply to remember my oneness with my source. To remember that I possess all that I seek. That I have the wisdom within me to call upon the guidance I seek and activate the power to take the next step forward. I breathe deep. I am fundamentally limitless, wildly powerful, inherently worthy, and fully supported. I breathe deep, and I acknowledge the clear path ahead as I create my world, as I create me in my world. And so it is.